meeting is being recorded.
You're only here a short time, so lay your life on the line. Living on borrowed time. Living on borrowed time.
Welcome to the Lion Zone, where you learn to be a lion and not a prey in the world of hungry jackals and vicious wolves. I'm your host, Steve Johan. For more about me, visit stevejohan.com or find me on Substack under stevejohan.substack.com. I've got a great show lined up for you and another great guest that's going to give us little insights on our water and what we can do about it. But before I introduce my guest, as you know, I like to start out with a song that kind of sets the pace. So here's today's song.
Once believed you were the keeper of my soul. Will it ever change? I've heard those lies before. Your motivation's waging miserable war. I know a place where the sun never dies. That's where his name comes in to expose your sin. Keep your dirty water, I ain't gonna drink. Your words corrode me and teach me how to think. Your dirty water's poison to my soul. Your words of wisdom won't guide me.
All right. I don't know if my guest is going to know who that is. Do you even recognize any of that?
No.
Well, that is a group called Brave, and that was off their first album. I had it back in the day. It was a metal band in the 90s. And this is what the words say. You were the very truth I once believed. You were the keeper of my soul, but it will ever change. I've heard those lies before. Your motivations wage invisible war. I know a place where the sun never dies. That's where his name comes in to expose your sin. Keep your dirty water. I ain't gonna drink. Your words corrode me and teach me how to think. Your dirty water poisons my soul. And he's talking about the devil, and he's talking about the corrosive nature of the devil and his lies. And it also talks about dirty water. And I have you on. Today's guest is the founder of a company that makes clean water, which is Century H2O, Century H2 number 2 O is an O.com. And he has run several companies. And right now I am talking to him from his factory where he builds these beautiful filters. And you're probably wondering why I'm bringing on a guy about water filters. Well, if anybody has been listening to my show, watching it, you know that I'm investigating things that I find interesting. And I'm also about trying to find ways to improve my health. And there's no better way than having purified water, and not just magic water, not just any kind of water. And I met Nelson and I said, this is a guy I want to bring on the show and talk about his company. So Nelson, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This is going to be a good time.
Well, thank you. So tell me a little bit about how did you get to the point where you are today? I know you've run a number of companies, you still do, but tell me how you got to where you're at today, briefly.
Well, well, I've been in manufacturing, been behind the scenes developing products for major corporations, running factories basically all over the world. And we moved to the Phoenix area and came out with a great company. Everything was good. And then they decided to sell the division that I had taken from a bad situation to a good situation. And in turn, what happened was I was out of a job. Well, 24 years ago in Phoenix, being in manufacturing was not the thing you wanted to be out here. Your paycheck was very small if you could find work. So I figured I could make other people wealthy. I could do it for myself. So I started an injection molding company, making plastic components for Boeing, Airbus, Homeland Security, Rockwell Collins, um, Verizon, AT&T, all these kind of things we do. And we do them at a level that is very, we're their top, we're within their top 10 suppliers. So that's a good thing. We never get returns. Everybody's happy with what we do. Well, I started my business 24 years ago in the water business. I worked for people, the big players out there. I made their RO systems. I made their plastic tanks. I built a clear filter housing that only had the knowledge of building. We take white material, make it clear because the white material is pure and they're unbreakable. And we did that for the RV industry, and that's how we kind of started our business. And then from there, I realized that what these guys, we were making for these guys, RO systems, was poison. So when you take water that has value to it, and all water does, and you destroy it through an RO system and make it dead water, you're basically poisoning people.
Back it up for a minute. What's an RO? What's RO stand for?
Reverse osmosis.
Okay,
that's that thing that underneath your sink, you put a tank in there. It takes 3 gallons of water to make 1 gallon of dead water when you're done.
My middle son worked at a local place here that supplies water to office spaces, and they use the reverse osmosis system to do it, to clean the water. And
they have to.
He did that when he was in high school, and then he was part of when he was in college. And so, yes, I'm very familiar with that. So go ahead.
Okay. The federal government has mandated any water that you buy or has to be RO, reverse osmosis. And they use all kinds of scientific things like, we get rid of all the bacteria, we get rid of all the, all the poisons and so forth and so on. But drinking water that has no value, what are you doing to your body? So you see folks now getting Botox, right? Because they're turning into a prune. No value in the water. They're not hydrating themselves. So all these things are byproducts and creating other businesses out there, I say, that is basically you put more poisons in your body, right? Botox and so forth and so on. So what we've done is, over time, we got to know the people in Europe that is developing products that are years ahead of advance from anything we're doing here in the United States. There's 2 kinds of water filtration. There's water filtration that the masses use, reverse osmosis, and salt. Let's throw salt in the water to get rid of the scale. Great idea. But when you take a shower, where does the salt go? On your body. What happens to your body? It sucks it in because it's a big old sponge. And now you're, I don't know, what does salt do to your body if you take too much of it in? Right? There's another sickness. I think they call it a stroke. So those are the things that we've been told is normal, but it doesn't need to be normal anymore. So now there's another group out there. Let's call them the globalists. They have their own type of water. And their water is water that is safe. It enhances their bodies. It gives them minerals. It gives them oxygen. It gives them pH. So that's what we do. We connected with these people. We bring in their products, and then we turn them into a system that the average person can use. And we try to keep it as affordable as possible. So that's the kind of things that we're involved in. Our technology is like nothing. I can tell you stories of people getting healthy off of this. We just got a story where a lady contacted us last year, and the doctor told her, we can't help you anymore. Nothing they could do for her. Her sickness is something I never heard of before. It's a nerve sickness, and it was because of strip mining in the middle of Illinois. It contaminated the water, lead and all that. She came to us and said, "You're my last resort." So we gave her, she put a house system in, and we just got notice 2 days ago that she's turning the corner. All she's been doing is drinking our water, and she expects her next blood test to be very positive. Her white blood count went from 15 to 8. Huge. Nobody could get it down except the water that we're treating these people with is huge oxygen, heavy oxygen, like you can see it, big bubbles, and pH 9.0 on the pH level, and it's all done with minerals. And we give you 198 parts per million of magnesium, and 98 parts per million of magnesium or calcium. And it's basically the same. So it's in the water. We enhance it a little bit, and that's it. That's what we do. We take out all the poisons. We pull out, if you got boron, if you got arsenic, if you got fluoride, if you got heavy metals, chromium 6, chlorine, ammonia. We take all that out of the water with the carbon. And then we take out vinyl chloride out of the water. Nobody else does that. So if you have white pipes in your house, those are PVC pipes. Vinyl chloride is being leached into your water slowly but surely. We went in a place called East Palestine, Ohio, where they dumped massive amounts of it in the water. We have tested it and pulled it all out. And we're going back there in October. You heard it here first with the president to give one system to every family in that town. We gave 200 of them away. Now we're going to give 2,000 away.
Wow.
And that's going. So if anybody wants to donate to this, they're more than welcome to. We have a 501c. Get it out there. Tell your friends about it. And we're going back. We're taking it. We're going to pull. We've already done the testing, chain of custody with the EPA. They didn't like that too much, and we showed that we took it to 0. They could get it down to 5.0, 5.22. We took it to 0. So that's what we do. We do everything with carbon. And then one thing about our product that is very interesting, you've heard of pharmaceutical VOCs. That's the PFAs, the vaccine,
Yep.
the abortions, chemical abortions,
Yep.
the VOCs, the nanoplastic that's in the water. Our product removes all of that, takes it all out of the water. Now, how do we get something of that nature, and why does it work? So you buy your RO system, and the carbon is regular carbon. It's not catalytic carbon. Everything we do is with catalytic carbon. Activated carbon. It is like 10 times more expensive. A cubic foot of regular carbon is $40. We're looking at between $180 and $800 a cubic foot. Okay, so we're putting in premium product. What our product does that nobody else does is, so the other product you got is at 600 grains of density. So what we learned is time and density cleans water, not RO. Remember that, time and density. We got the time. You want to be somewhere around between 60 seconds and 120 seconds. That's the magic number. That water has to pass across, goes over carbon to clean it. Here's what we do. Our carbon, I told you 600 grains, right? The carbon I'm telling you about takes out pharmaceuticals, 2,800 grains of density with magnesium infused into it. It was designed by the globalists, paid my chemist over in Germany lots of money to design a product that would take the vaccine out of the fish farms, the water that's going into the fish farm. Because every time someone in your family, someone in your neighborhood
Flushes that toilet, it goes into the system.
you got it, and
Yeah.
you're enjoying that product. And here in Arizona, we went to dark water this year. California, dark water. Texas, dark water. What does that mean? It used to be that your waste products will go into underground aquifers for 10 years, say. Now they're shrunk that time down. They're not even telling us how tight they've made it, but they shrunk that time down so the water's not being cleaned. So what they're doing now is dumping in more chemicals into the water, which you don't need. So that's what our product does, kind of in a nutshell. And what happens is people with cancers, cancer is going into remission, cancer is going away. We've had many people tell us that. You guys are familiar with a gentleman called Roger Stone?
Yes, the political,
Trump's lawyer.
yeah.
His wife has cancer. She's been living on our water now for a year and a half. So Roger was buying oxygenated water out of Colorado. And I sent him a system. He plugged it in. He weighed glass of ours against a glass of theirs, and it was the same weight. And he's paying like $1,000 a gallon.
Right.
Ours is 0.00007 tenths of a penny. It comes out of your tap. It does, so I'm sure your listeners go to the local water store and get their pH water, right? They hit it with electricity, and that's how they bring up the pH. That starts at 12 and goes to 7.5 within 7 days. 12, anything above 9.5 is not really good for the body. We chrome plate parts at 12. Just give you an idea. 11 and 12 is what I use the chrome plate parts, okay, in our factory. At 9, you're good. It ain't gonna hurt you. You want that. And when you do our water, it's all mineralized, just the way God gave it to you in the creeks and the streams, right? It's mineralized. I got water that's over 2 years old in a gallon jug. I take my little pH meter, zap it, it's still at 9.0 2 years later.
Wow.
Totally different. And when you look at this water, it looks 3D because of all the minerals in it. And some people that have a really sensitive palate can taste the minerals in it. That's how amazing it is.
So I grew up in a small town, little place called Ferndale, Washington, and until they went to the river, and I remember when they changed and went to the river for our water, you could taste it. Everybody would always comment, geez, you can just chew your water. And we had a high mineral content that just naturally came out of the ground in Ferndale. And then as the city grew, they needed more water and they started pumping it in from the river. And you could tell completely it was a complete different animal. And I want to talk about a little bit about that. And we're going to talk about your system some more. But I want us to talk about the difference between you got your well water, and then you got your lake water, you got your river water, you've got your reverse osmosis water, you got distilled water, and then you've got what they call the electrified water, the Kangen machines, and all this kind of stuff. And then you have what I call high mountain water and glacier water.
Mhm.
And having been through Glacier National Park, come to the top, highway to the sun. You get out,
Right.
go to the lodge.
Been
Been there.
there.
It's beautiful. You come out,
Mhm.
they just got a spigot just pouring out of the
Mhm.
water. We put our the last time we came through there, we all filled up our metal containers, and we were, you know, 15, 20 minutes down the other side, and we all started drinking our water. We're like, hey, I got to finish mine off. It was like the most refreshing.
Mhm.
Everybody in all five of us said, this is the most wonderful water we've ever tasted in our life.
Mhm.
And and we actually have a well that is in our township. It's a natural artesian well that's right down the street, and a lot of people go up there and get jugs and fill it up. Now, I was told by somebody local that it may not be as good as water as you think because it's at the low end. You think about all the contaminants going there, but the city tests it, and it doesn't have any fluoride or anything. But talk to me about the different types of water. You're in Phoenix. I lived there for a year and a half way back in the day, have been through it several times since. You got deep wells out there. And I know about north of you, there's a little township. What's that right off of Black? Anyway, they've got their own supply of water and it's really good. I can't remember what it is, but your water is so far down and it's now getting uh, pretty contaminated. Talk to us about all these types of water and why you need a filter system because I'm thinking, well, I got water that comes out of that lake or the reservoir. What are they doing? What happens to our water in those areas?
All right. So remember this: the federal government controls all water. Okay, you're not allowed to have. You're not allowed unless you drill a well in your own yard. They control what comes into your house, and there's a mandate. So what the feds will do? Let's start out with a city water. City water is all ammonia and chlorine. They call it chloramine. Probably heard that word. That means they're going away from the chlorine because it's too expensive and it doesn't last as long as the ammonia.
Mm,
Okay. So that's what they're putting in your water, as well as other things like fluoride is added to the water.
yep.
And that's not the good fluoride, that's the poison they dump in the water. They got to get rid of it and somebody has to pay for it. That's you and me. We're poisoning ourselves with our own money. Nice. And then they throw in anything else that they find that they deem. If you're like in Arizona, we have a ton of arsenic. It's all in the water. Can't, I'm the only guy that I know of, other than major products like we put on the Indian reservations, to get arsenic out of water is almost impossible. Get fluoride out of the water is almost impossible. We do all that. Okay, we have certain products that remove that very nicely. It's all natural. So that's what you got in the city situation. Basically, you got water that's undrinkable coming into your house. Beautiful part about it is you're taking a shower in that chlorine. Hope you enjoy and putting the chlorine on your body and ammonia on your body when you take a 5 or 10 minute shower. Okay, and we all like to shower in hot water, right? So what happens?
Opens up your pores.
You got it. You're doing a beautiful job of contaminating your body. Okay, so there's your first situation. So let's say we went up to let's say we got water from an artesian well in Alaska, away from everything, right? There's a rule, there's a law. They cannot sell you that water unless it's been gone through an RO system. So that great water, they strip everything out of it.
Oh.
It's a law.
So when it says spring water,
is already been contaminated by an RO system. They can't give it, okay? They can't give it to you. Now it gets even better. So I hear people tell me this all the time. I'm getting spring water. I'm bringing it in from some place that's the best water in the world. They don't realize that the feds control what's in that water. What's in that water is what they put in it. And I don't know all the ins and outs because everybody's a little different, but they have to take it to zero. They got to kill it because they cannot let you have bacteria in your water. They cannot let you have all these other ingredients in your water. So for one way, they're doing you a favor, they're making sure the bacteria, the parasites are out of the water. But by doing that, they're destroying the water to some degree, right? So there's your first problem. So they pull everything, all the minerals come out. If you look at a reverse osmosis, it strips the water 100% by law. Okay. So then they'll throw in some, we put in magnesium and calcium back into it, and it's all chemically driven. I don't want chemicals in my body. It's another form of chemicals, right? So there you go. So you just add it up. So here's what gets really uniquely cool. They put it in a plastic bottle. And semis have a thing called heat cycles. So they fill the semi up in Alaska with water. And they drive it down. And let's say you live in, just for fun, Florida. And it's going through the Midwest. And it's 90 degrees outside. They call it a heat cycle. Inside that semi, it's 180 degrees. Nano bits of plastic starts breaking off with the plastic bottle and going into your drinking water. There you go. And that's just not in the water. That's in any plastic container product that you buy.
yeah, all your food, everything you get.
Bingo.
It used to be metal, and it
Yep.
used to be glass.
Yes.
And
Not anymore.
Glass is the most pure way of containing
Right.
something. And then
Well,
metal is pretty permeable. I mean, you seal it with canning and everything. So again, it's pretty protected. But when you have the plastics, which everything from your ketchup to your mayonnaise to your applesauce to anything that comes in there is
Yeah.
plastic. Even if you don't want it's being shipped plastic wise, and you're saying it heats up in the shipping process, and then it's releasing all these PFRs, all the plastic
PFOs.
pieces. Yes.
PFOC. Okay, so one of the things that we do with our water, when you drink our water, it scrubs those plastic particles out of your body.
Right.
That's what we do. That's part of our product line. Okay. People get overweight because the plastic seals their fat cells. And when it seals their fat cells, the fat can't release, and that's how you get overweight. That's one of the problems.
So I have had other individuals on, and I have heard that all chemicals, like if you're smoking pot, those drugs go in and they hang into your fat cells.
Yes.
And all the other kind of drugs and impurities,
Yes.
they hang into the fat cells. And so your body is now collecting all this toxin in the fat cells. And so I expect if you start losing weight, if you lost it too fast, you might release far too much toxin for your body to handle. You have to do it over a slower period of time, and you have to use methodologies to pull it. So are you saying by drinking your water, by entering it into your body, because I know that's what the Kangen guy was saying to me, is if you put it into your body, the pH starts pulling out the unwanted materials in your body. Am I correct on this? On your
Yes. Okay, so I have several ladies in their mid 40s, 2, 3, 4 children, gym people, healthy.
Yep.
They get down to that last 10 pounds and they can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
They start drinking our water religiously, and they told me within 2 weeks they're down 10 pounds. They had no problem losing weight. Okay. I recently, give you kind of a heads up, I recently decided to lose some weight, and I've lost 19 pounds in 8 weeks. 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 9 weeks. I lose a pound a week. And in the beginning, you lose a pound a day.
Yeah.
What I did was I went on a regimen of probiotics in my water, and no white bread, and no gluten. And I'm down from 190. I'm 5'11". I'm down to 171 right now.
Wow.
And I plan on losing another 10 pounds.
Yeah, because I've got that little bit of a paunch right on the stomach, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I work out, I take care of myself, I eat really, really clean, I don't overindulge in anything, and I'm like,
it's
I
the
can't
water.
lose that, and I'm like, so I mean, I've already told my wife we're buying your system, and she's okay with that. Um, we'll begin with the one under the sink.
Oh,
So
it's addicting. Okay, so the other thing too is when you start using our system, um, if you get cramps in your legs, you'll be adding minerals, right? When I don't drink per day, I get severe cramps. I mean bad cramps,
So I've
and
got that's interesting. I'm looking forward to maybe because I've got my leg is very tense, so it
it'll fix
cramps
it.
up.
Yes, it'll help. It'll help.
And I know
Say you want,
part of that is oxygen. My body's not getting the oxygen to the
oh,
all the ligaments, all the I've done some research and I know that it's your oxygen starvation to your
well, you're going to get so much oxygen. I had a gentleman I just put a house system in, called me this week. He called me like, hey, how come my water's gray? I said, and then goes, I set on the glass on the table and it goes clear. So that's oxygen. So what happens is um, the oxygen that you're going to get from our product. So the harder the water, the more oxygen you get. And we're getting here in Phoenix 68 parts per million of oxygen. Okay. So that 68 parts per million of oxygen goes in and shrinks your prostate. You don't get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom. I went from 5 times to 0. Okay.
that'll be a good thing.
For
Yes.
most guys it is. But we're getting back to the comment you were asking about the different waters.
Yeah,
Okay.
the different types of waters. Yes.
So let's say Kingdom, which I hate to tell you everybody this, but they're in a major lawsuit with the federal government for lying to you about their product. Okay. Adding electricity to make pH is not a good thing. It just isn't. You don't want to do that. But Kingdon was a big craze because everybody wanted this pH water, right?
Yes.
But you paid dearly for it. That
What's a
unit was
$3,000 for a unit? I know
right,
somebody was trying to pitch it to us, gave us a sample
right.
machine, and then took it back. And I'm like, in a blah, blah. Long story short, I said, I think there's other ways. I even found other
Okay,
pliers. So
all
I
right.
said, I
We're
told my wife,
talking.
we're on a hunt for what's the best for us.
So we're talking $300.
Yep.
Okay, it cost me almost that to make it. We're on a quest to fix America, so that's why we're giving it to you. This is not what we should be selling it for. To give you an idea. But at the end of the day, um, you're going to get water that you're going to love. Your body's going to actually crave it. Animals go nuts over this water. Calves wean off on this water. They won't wean on regular water. It's poison. They know it. They won't leave the mother. It's killing our beef industry. Um, what you're going to find though, so you got your Kingdon. At one point, that kind of money, I'm sorry, it's not. I wouldn't pay for it.
No.
Okay. You got your city water. Now, let's say you pull water out of the ground, your own well.
Yes.
you have problems. You got nitrites. You got iron. You got ore. You got foliage. You have all these different things in your water that you have to. I just got done building a well system for a gentleman that lives by DuPont, and it has uranium in the water.
Yeah.
Got the test back. We pulled every bit of. We pulled 98% of the uranium out of the water. Unfortunately, he's already got his cancer. His wife has cancer from it. But going forward, they're getting now clean water. Okay, so you got to know what's in that well. Wells are not what you thought they were.
No, no, they're not.
Now think about this, and then we're not even. You can't even test for this, by the way. I can get it tested in Europe, but not here. They won't allow you to test for vaccines in the water.
Wow.
But we did it in Europe. It was built for the globalists who wanted it out of the water, so we know it works. And what we're doing is we are so stringent and so dense on our carbon. Now, guys, remember this. If you don't remember anything else about this show, remember one thing. They're coming after your water. They have to. It's the one thing we all need. Our vegetables need it. If they can taint the water, it goes in your vegetables, goes in your livestock, it goes into your body. Yeah, enough being said, okay? Remember this. You do not clean water with an RO, reverse osmosis. You do not clean water with salts. What you do with water is this is how you clean water. Time and density. Time is how slow the water goes across the carbon. The carbon then, the denser the carbon, the more it will extract out of that water. It squeezes it, right? Time and density. And that's what we do. Everything's time and density now. And we are taking stuff out of the water. I put 2 cubic feet of carbon in a tank to get rid of that material I just told you about. It took 2 cubic feet. If I would have put 1 in there, we wouldn't have got there. It took 2. So what I'm saying, we use a thing called bone char. Bone char was something that was created, was allowed back in the early 1900s when they said fluoride was bad in the water. So they used bone char. It's animal bones. And when the fluoride goes across it, it sticks to the bones. So we use that now. And we have to buy it from other places because they made it very hard to get it here in America because they don't want you using the bone char.
Oh, like even the idea of bone meal is really good for your garden.
There you go. There's a reason for that. It takes all the toxins out of the water.
Oh, and out of the soil.
Out of the soil. But the bone char is what we have in our system to help remove fluoride. We remove fluoride at 100%.
Wow.
Nobody can do that. Nobody out there, even RO, will not even remove fluoride. They won't even touch fluoride. We're the only guys that are doing this. And we have laboratory EPA testing to prove it. That's the difference, okay? Those are the things we do. Everything we do, we test. And we test it, and we do it at a very simple way. So if you come to Phoenix, and you go to the Sun Stadium, all the water in the Sun Stadium is mine. So let's say you go out and go to your favorite venue. I don't care if let's say you went to the movies and got a drink, a pop, a soda, whatever you want to call it. And you have ice in it. Those ice cubes are made in Japanese ice machines that use phosphates to keep the scale from sticking to the ice machines. The phosphate goes into your ice cube and it's direct poison. We do oxygen, it's direct wellness. Big difference.
So you're saying that's interesting. So the ice making machines that make them, is that the same kind that you would see at the motels when you go and you get
everywhere?
It's not like me. I've got a freezer. I put my water into an ice tray. I set it up there, and it just sits, and it becomes. You're talking about the machine that makes this.
Yeah.
And drops.
Yeah, they can't. Yes, they cannot have scales sticking to the electrodes that make the ice. So they got to use phosphate, so it goes down the drain. But a portion of that goes into your ice cube. At the Sun Stadium, you're getting oxygenated ice cubes, not phosphate ice cubes.
So there's so many things that are built for convenience that end up causing long-term detrimental effects on our being. And it was
yes.
You as an engineering kind of guy, you understand why they did what they did.
But I know exactly.
They're not thinking that, gee, if we do this, it's a little bit's going to get in your body, and over a period of time, it's going to cause this issue. So a lot of what we do as human beings is short-sighted. We do not
No,
think,
no. Let me take it one step further.
okay,
The almighty dollar.
okay, mammon worship. That is the number one, yes. Greed.
That's the problem. It's all about the dollar, okay? The product that I'm bringing to the marketplace has only been around a couple years. This hasn't been around long term. That's what I'm saying, okay? It's only been around a short period of time. Hershey's Kraft Cheese uses my product. My molding company uses it. That's how it gets scale through the system. So what happened was, here's why I did this. 7 years ago, I'm a healthy guy. I don't do drugs. I don't do pharmaceutical drugs. I do nothing. I go to my doctor. Doctor says, we got a problem. Your PSA levels are climbing. They've been 1.6 for the last 40, 60 years. Now they're at 3.9 by October. It happened in June. Went and had an ultrasound done, had a growth, went to a professional, specialist. We all got to do specialists now. Dude says, okay, I got to do a biopsy. I says, no. I go, let me ask you a simple question. What will this do to me once you do this? I have no idea. He says, well, you'll become a eunuch. Your world will change. I've been married to the same woman for 42 years. And I said, no, it's not. I'd rather die. This isn't something I'm interested in.
Yep.
So I went home. I said, I'm moving oxygen through factories. I can move oxygen through the body. So I built my first system. I bought a new home, put it in the house. Started drinking it. That was in January. I went and had a blood test done in May. Went back to the doc. He says, what did you do? I said, I've been drinking. I didn't know about the pH. I didn't know about anything else. I just knew about oxygen, right? 1.7. He goes, I've been drinking oxygenated water. He goes, well, legally, I can't tell you this, but we know oxygen kills cancer, but we don't know how to get it in the gut. Deepak Chopra, my chemist, knows how to get it in the gut. You drink it, goes through your stomach, into your bowels, and all these other things start happening. My prostate has been the same for the last 7 years. I'm fine. No problems. I don't do any, I go to my doctor and he laughs at me. He goes, you're the only person I know that doesn't take any kind of meds. I says, I'm good. I'm fine. I haven't taken a med. I'm healthy. I'm healthier today than I was 10 years ago because of what I'm doing. Water.
I love this. And when you think, and unless you, like I said, unless you're up in Glacier National Park and it's pure, you're not going to get the kind of pure water. Because I even know that if you put wells on your own land here in Washington State, in a lot of places, they monitor that well. My dad had a well on his property in Squim. This was years ago. And they came out and they said, well, we got to monitor it now. We're going to start taxing you on your well. I mean, literally, we need to monitor it. We're going to tax it. I said, Dad, I just put a separate pipe and to have two spigots, okay? But the fact is, they are all about controlling your water. And they used to have an irrigation ditch that ran through all the different land there, and then they piped all that up, and all of a sudden, a lot of that when you take water out of an area and you pipe it, it changes the topography of an area. And so I know that water is very important. A lot of farmers are not allowed to put wells on their in their farms anymore. They're told to cap them off. You can't do it, because they want to deprive the farmers from having their source of water. So water is a huge, huge thing. And I want to talk about something you said earlier, but let's talk about the effect of bad water on farming and on beef and other type of animals that we need for supporting ourselves with protein. Talk to us about that whole aspect, because I know of a couple of people who have their little private farms and they grow beef cattle that are all pure grass-fed. Talk to us about this. You've been
Okay,
learning
so
about.
I worked with the Cattlemen's Association until they kicked me out. The feds stopped the tests.
Oh, the feds. Okay.
Yeah. So what you have is you have a calf. It's worth $1,500. You have a cow that's worth 3,000. Those are the financials. 50% of the calves will not wean off their mother because they won't drink toxic water. When you got chemtrails floating around
Oh, I
dumping
know.
aluminum,
It.
what they're doing, that aluminum goes into your lakes, your ponds, your
Yes.
rivers.
Yes.
The cows smell it. They won't drink it. Our product, they would drink because we're taking it out. They got it. That's one area. Okay. Now, regardless whether you like it or not, you can have the perfect beef. You can be feeding the perfect stuff. But if you're feeding the lake water, the lake water has toxins in it. It's in your cow now. It's not perfect anymore. We have a way to fix that. Okay. We have tanks. We build house systems. We build commercial systems. We build systems that go in hotels. And we can build them any site. It's a modular product we make. Okay. And we can take anything out of the water we want. So that's one area. And then you're going to go and you're going to, the rain falls on your crops, goes through the chemtrails. Aluminum now is in your crops. Let's say you watered your product from a well. Let's say you water your product from a river. The poisons that are in the wells, nitrates. So the farmer down 10 miles away is putting fertilizer around. You're doing organic. It goes into the ground. You pull the water. It's in your, now it's on your plants. You just
Yeah.
fertilize your plants. Okay. So those are the worlds we live in. We have a way to fix that. And it's just a matter of a tank. You run the water through the tank. And I got 6-inch water lines going through my tanks. Keep my molding machines running. So we can do anything you want. Guy called me up and said, I got a 40-story apartment building. I want a filter. It's in LA. They needed to move 400 gallons a minute. That's a lot of water.
Yeah, it is.
They're running 12-inch water line. We had no problem fixing it. Okay, wasn't even a problem. Wasn't even a concern. So we have ways of doing all this. We have tanks that will move that much water, and then we build accordingly, right? So in his case, he had 400 gallons. I had 100-gallon tanks. So I had 400-gallon tanks on a manifold, 2 tanks per unit, and away you go. So the CT resin that we use is what takes all the scale out of the water. It also puts all the oxygen in the water. And I tell you, this stuff is so expensive. You'd be surprised when I told you the price of a 60-liter drum of this stuff is it's just huge. But that's what we feel we need to get oxygen into the human body at a level that matters. Now, women love this product, and here's what they love about it. Botox? Not really. Men love it. Takes all the crap around their eyes away. Does all that because it hydrates you, right? When the water hydrates you, you look differently. You look better. You look healthy. You feel healthy. It's just a different mindset. Is all I'm saying. And when you drink our water, I used to drink a bottle of Kirkland water. I could drink half, and that was it. And I'm talking about when it was 120 degrees in Arizona. My water, I can go through 8 32-ounce glasses, and I'm just starting to get full. And you don't go to the bathroom right away either. It goes into your body, and your body soaks it up. I drink a 32-ounce glass of water before I go to bed at night. Who in the right mind does that? And I'm good for 12 hours. That's the difference.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day about, you watch TV shows from the 60s, 70s, and no one's drinking water. And as a kid, I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and we didn't drink a lot of water. We would drink our water. We'd have a little canteen or something, but I'd go all day on my bicycle, and I felt no need to drink water. And I'm thinking, well, we were drinking well water, and it was a lot cleaner back in those days. Things have completely changed. Everybody, I walk around with a water container with me. Everybody walks around with water containers. You can't get enough. And
they're drinking dead water.
It goes right through my system. So I know there is a difference in what's going on with the water because just by and large that I didn't have to drink as much back as a younger person and didn't feel like I needed it.
Your body consumed it. Now it passes it through because it's dead. So all you're putting in your body right now is liquid.
Yes.
You're allowing yourself a liquid to sweat. That's it. So when you get our system, when you drink it, it won't take very long for it to start showing the benefits. You're going to be saying, "Holy cow, this is a whole different animal. I never. This is something. This is the way it was when I was a kid."
Here's another thing.
We are.
I want to interrupt real quick. As my father got older, he would go to the he didn't drink a ton of water, but he drank enough water, drank his decaf. He would fall down because he'd be dehydrated.
Yeah.
Well, he hadn't changed his habit his entire life. He didn't drink that much water, but because the water has changed, his body isn't consuming it anymore. Yeah,
Right.
he passed away last year, but the I'm thinking all the elderly people who are having all these issues of falling down, dehydrated, and you say, "Mom, take and drink this water." Well, the body is not absorbing it. Of course, they're like on medications and stuff. A lot of things are now connecting the dots. I mean, I'm like, holy smokes.
It's all in the water.
It's the
Water
water.
controls your. Think
It's
about
Jesus says, "I am the living water."
it.
And there's a reason for that. I was just talking to my group last night about that when you're in a desert and you have a well, that was the hub of activity, was everybody
Mhm.
congregated around the oasis, the well,
Yeah.
and that's where life Phoenix or Vegas started because of a well of wells, and that's where everything formed, and then it expanded out from there. So water is so important, and now we've poisoned it, and I think there's a deliberately being done to us. And even like you were telling me, the wealthy, the Ubers, the guys in the top are calling you and saying, I need a system to clean up my fish farm. I need a system to da da da. And I'm like, but you're kind of in, can't you have a little bit of input of changing things? But I think it's far beyond just in it, one individual. This is so big that not any one entity and what except for people like yourself who's building these filters. So talk to us about if a cow farmer was to put in a system and that water
Mhm.
comes in and it goes in their tubs for their
Mhm.
animals or troughs to drink,
Mhm. Yeah.
it would change the dynamics of their herd, wouldn't it?
Think about this, and I don't know the extent of what it would change, but when I get people calling me that have sicknesses that they can't cure, and the water is over time because it's natural curing it. I mean, I'm not promoting all
I
that
know.
stuff. I got women with breast cancer. It went away. I have people call me saying, "I'm drinking your water and things are happening." Animals. Okay, so you got a cow and you feed it toxic water. Okay, so how well would your how well would you be if I fed you chlorine, I fed you nitrates, I fed you all these things? You
It's
know,
in there.
babies.
I'm drinking it because I can't get away from it.
Well, but here's what I'm saying: babies, they call them blue babies. If you have nitrates in the water, they become blue. Babies can't take it. Blue babies, right? So what I'm telling you is, if you had a farmer that really wanted to produce a high-end product, okay, and he's doing all the other things right, no vaccines, grain-fed, grass-fed, whatever the right way to do it is. The last part of the piece of the puzzle that he's missing out on is water. Oh, I'm taking it from a lake. I'm taking it from a spring. Folks, the water starts somewhere. You don't know what it passes through before you get it. And all I know is we are seeing wells that are so contaminated. I had a well that was so contaminated with vegetation, the water came out orange. And they use peroxide to clean the water so people can use it. Yeah. You want me drinking peroxide water? So what I'm telling you is our water is the water and the only water that I know of that will take care of these things. I mean, it is. I mean, be honest with you. Between you and me, uh, my water is my medicine. I don't do anything other than my water. I don't take any kind of pharmaceuticals. I don't do anything like that. We watch our diet now very closely, and just removing certain things out of our diet, not doing
Just
diet,
yes,
not
just simple
things.
things. Adding more vegetables, adding more clean things. That alone for me has made, and my wife has completely changed our lives. And now this
Yes.
is going to be the component of that, because I told my wife when she got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which actually just means inflammation, by the way. Um, and so she went to our naturopathic, and he said, okay, here's what we need to do. Let's get rid of all the things that bring inflammation into your body, and let's change your diet. And then she went through that, and then she went through a personal coach, exercise, mental, emotional, spiritual, and now she's got, she walks every day, she has her quiet time every day, she's feeding her mind, body, and spirit, and we're eating clean, and then she'll take a few things, just some supplements that are to anti-inflammatory, and she has had a tremendous reversal. And I'm like, she's still dealing with a little bit. I'm like, okay, but this water thing, when I hear
Yes.
about you, I'm like, this is, I believe, the next additional part of the puzzle. Because
Well, is she
you,
doing gluten?
what's that?
Is she doing any gluten?
She limits how much she does, very limited.
All right. My wife had her those when you get arthritis where your hands like become like little claws,
Right.
they close up like that. Okay, her whole family went through that, right? So her toes started doing this, and she started panicking, right? So we'd use CBD on the toes,
Yep. Not
gluten.
a thing. No.
We took 100% of the gluten out of her diet, and I do the same because I got to support her. Otherwise, it's going to be right back in the diet.
Yep. Yep.
Gone, 100% gone. The gluten is the problem with arthritis. Okay, so guys, look, people out there do things for a reason. If you're not sick, I can't sell you a drug. We know that pharma has taken over the entire world.
Agriculture is huge. They've taken over all the ag. I mean,
Monsanto is
Monsanto and Bayer, boom.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know this. All right, we know this. So what do we got to do is we got to figure out how to get around this. So I happen to be very, very fortunate, blessed that I dealt with these people prior. We did some water stuff together. We were moving some of their products. And the company is called Watch Water out of Germany. And we did some things and we were getting rid of the scale. And I just happened to come up with this idea of killing cancer. And then we find out the bigger picture is, and we didn't know what COVID was all about when it first started. I worked with them on the whole COVID world. Okay. We have a product that removes COVID from anywhere. Any virus known to man, we can take it away. But we can't sell in America, by the way. Europe, but not America. And we got to be friends. I happened to introduce them to some very influential people here, and they like me for that. It's amazing how you stroke at their egos, and they're your buddy. And they told me about these products, and I started putting them together. Mad scientists, we got them all together and come up with them. Then we tested them all, make sure that what we're talking about is right. The amount goes in matters. The speed matters. We went through all this, and it took me about 4 years to come up with the right formulas. Now we have something that, for myself personally, took me from a place where I was going to go through a major surgery and become a person I didn't want to become, and still never know if I ever got rid of the cancer. Okay. And all that, to a person that I don't live on any kind of pharmaceuticals. I live on my water. I'm healthier now than I've ever been in my life. And I'm, like I said, I weight wise, I've never been a heavy guy. But as you slow down in life, you start eating more. But the downside is you're not eating more, you're eating more garbage,
Or more garbage. Yep.
sugars, so forth. I'm a bread fanatic, like most of us are. I don't know why that is, and so we're seeing the world for you. Fast food guy. Hey, McDonald's, Burger King, those are my places. Those are my go-to places, right? I haven't been to one in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
I have no desire to go back.
Nope.
And
That's me. When you start eating clean, man, I can
it
eat better
tastes
at my
good.
home.
It tastes good. I
Yes.
mean, it literally tastes good, right? And I use my water. So here's the deal. What I learned years ago is if you drink water, you can eat more food. You drink pop, you can't, right? You get your sugar
Right.
one way or the other. So I
Right.
started drinking more. I started drinking more water, going to restaurants, drinking water. I'm that water guy, right? Not knowing that it was like not that good of water, but it's water. Now when I drink my water, I don't need more food. The minerals fill you up.
Yes. Yes.
Unreal. So I'll do a glass of water, a couple ice. Our ice cubes are hazy. So you get your ice cubes, they're all shiny. You know what that means? Chlorine,
Mm.
poison. My ice cubes are hazy. You can't see through them. And they melt, they cool down the drink. Any fluid you put this in quickly gets cold. Totally different animal. Yes. I don't know why, but it does. Because it's melting or icebergish, right? I'll drink a glass of water before I eat, and then I'll have a glass when I eat. And my portions of food have become what I used to sit down and eat at one sitting takes me 3 sittings now to eat. I don't feel any worse off for it. I'm not dying. I'm not unhealthy. I go twice a year and get a physical twice a year. They do a blood deal, right? And my doctor, who is not, he's a naturalist guy, he looks at me and just laughs. He goes, I can't even sell you a drug. How am I supposed to make money off of you? It's, so it's
I,
just comical.
I got a question. Now, carbon is just coal, is it not? Is it the carbon is just it's a coal, it comes out of the ground or it's
Somewhat, yeah.
manufactured. Um,
We add other things to it. We,
right.
we add, we activate it. Okay. So we add other things to the carbon.
But where do you so you've got to find a good quantity, a good quality product, and we got tons of coal all over the United States. It's
Not, we don't use that coal.
oh,
Coal we use, oh no, our coal comes out of Germany. Then we activate it. We bring in minerals from Siberia. Those are the things. Our trapezoid is what takes the pH from 7.5 up to 9.0 or higher if I wanted to, or lower if I wanted to. We know how to control it now. And it adds and takes magnesium from whatever numbers in your water to 198 parts per million, and takes the calcium to 98 parts per million.
so are you getting this product from these locations is because it's the purest product that you can
It's the,
find?
it's the only product that works.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, my CT resin that comes from mines in Siberia. Oh yeah, they have a weaker product here in Canada. People are using called SP3, but doesn't do what we do. We take it and then we put it in a nuclear reactor and we charge it. So it's negative and positive ions. When the scale passes through, puts an oxygen bubble around it, breaks that rock, which looks like a snowflake, into a powder, which your body can process, and your house can process, and your factory can process. It doesn't stick to anything. That's the difference.
So Siberia being related to Russia, and these are pure things coming out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I also know Baltic plywood is the best plywood out there. It's like
Mm-hmm.
7 layer plywood. It's dense, clean, no crap in the side. I used to be able to buy it at one place. I can't find it anymore. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yet there's this war, quote quote war against where some good products are coming out of. I wonder if there's a plan there that 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 the guys at the top don't want you to know that there's some really good stuff coming out of that area.
There's nothing wrong with Russia.
I know there's nothing wrong with Russia. I'm just saying
No,
we
no, Russia's good. Russia is America in 1980s.
I know that.
So
But the
we got
propaganda is making us look like we've got to go against them. Blah
we
blah
got we
blah.
got okay. A mile from my house, I can see it from my front window. They make the bullets for NATO, Afghanistan. That factory has never slowed down once. So
I
if
know.
there's now a war,
That's
no
it.
bullet.
That-
Okay,
that-
so
no, no, no. It's war is money. Money is war. It's
okay,
yes.
but going back to Russia, you got to remember something. This product that we're speaking of, it's not for you. The globalist, the word globalist encompasses Russia as part of their world.
Yep.
Globalist, right?
Globalist.
So they don't mind dealing with the globe.
No.
We are not supposed to, but they can. So they look for the best products from the best places in the world, okay? And they utilize them to their benefit. So
Yes.
what I'm saying is, you got to remember who my buddies are.
Yeah.
These guys play differently than you and I do, okay? Totally different world. I mean, guys, we're not talking about the same thing. We're not talking about the garbage that they want you to believe in. We're talking about, so you put one of our, think about this. You put one of our whole house systems in, right? Your house gets healthy. Your hot water tank, oh, wait, doesn't get scale buildup in it. Oh, and if you have an on demand, you have to have our system. Otherwise, we've been working with Renitz and Ream for the last 10 years because without our scale product, you can't, your on demand doesn't work. It closes up in 3 years with scale. Okay, so that's one thing. Your dishwasher, wait, it gets clean and you don't have to use jet pods because there's no water spots on your dishes. Oh, your washing machine. Oh, your washing machine now works for extra how many years? Scale kills everything. All your pipes in your house are clean. Your shower. Oh, you'll have some white powder on the walls, but you can take a wet rag and wipe them off. No scale. Your house is healthy. You're healthy. This is a different world, my friend. This is not the world that you've been taught. This product we're telling you is a 21st century wellness system. It's not a water system. It's wellness.
Wellness, and that's where I'm at. I'm all about what you're doing and working and learning from the sources. I mean, look, you can do this in the financial world. You can see what they're doing and you can mimic it, or you can just be like everybody else. You're doing the same thing
Right.
with wellness products. What are they doing? I can mimic this. Learn from, it says in the Bible, be crafty as a serpent, harmless as a dove. In other words,
That's
learn
what,
from those people out there and apply it to yourself. Even in their document, I've got a book, Breaking the Deception Code, that I'm rewriting, and I point out the weapons for quiet wars, and they say in their own document, if you get what we're saying and you can jump out of the merry-go-round, good
mm-hmm.
for you. But
Well,
most people aren't going to do that, and we don't care about you. But if you jump out of that loop, you're fine.
yeah.
We're not going to bother you. And
Well,
it's like, oh,
well, think about this. There's a war on humanity,
yes,
and everything comes from water.
yep,
You can last 7 days without water, is it?
yeah.
Or
It's very
12.
small amount. Yep,
You can 3 days. You can last 3 days without water, 12 days without food. That's it. Excuse me. So if they attack your water, you're done.
yep,
And they've been attacking the water now for the last 40 years. And now they're going after a thing called a vaccine in the water. We take it out, by the way. We're the only guys that do it. Nobody else can touch us. Okay. And the reason we have all this is because the people who are putting the crap in the water don't want to drink it themselves. So you can either follow the rules or we are the new fountain of youth. That's it. We are your fountain of youth. If you use our water, you'll become healthy. It's as simple as that. You use our water, you'll have a better life. And I'm telling you, anybody over the age of 40 gets it and they buy our product. We can't make enough of this stuff. It's flying off the shelves. You got guys like Ted Nugent promoting it, Shemaine Nugent, all the big players out there promoting it. And now the president's going to get behind the product line. Like his son's drinking our water because he figured out what it was in Florida was killing them. They're on it. They love it. So all I'm telling you is, your audience should. We have a very cheap.
oh yeah,
Cost.
it's very inexpensive. I've been over there.
It's
Anybody can afford it.
$325. Get
Yep.
a discount. Or we have a house system for small homes for $3,400. Or we have a house system for large homes at $6,000, and they last for up to like 8 years. So you don't touch anything. You forget about it. It cleans itself. It does everything itself. Your job is to enjoy the water. It makes your house well. It makes you well. It's up to you. I mean, it's people are, oh, I don't have extra money to spend on this. You cannot not afford to spend money on this.
I'm going to tell you, folks, I spent I have not used insurance money. Quote, I've got a medical sharing group that I'm involved with, a Christian medical sharing group, and it's more catastrophic than anything. If I go to the naturopath or I go to my chiropractor, it's out of my pocket. Has been for years. I buy good supplements. I buy good food. I pay for it out of my pocket. My wife does the same thing. When she did her coaching thing, she paid a couple $1,000s for that, but it's been a lifesaver for her. So if you're gonna take care of yourself, invest in yourself. Quit. Don't buy that extra bells and whistles car. Get a lower line and spend the money on yourself, and then you'll be able to enjoy that car. That's how I look at life.
That's
Um,
right.
you've got to
That's
take
right.
care of yourself, and I'm glad I've been able to meet you, and I know we'll be doing some business in the future, but I'm going to definitely buy the product. But um, our time's getting short. I know you have to go and keep busy
I gotta
there.
go back. We'll go back to work.
Well, that's what I'm doing. So where can people go to find your products?
Century H2O .com, and it's Century with an S. Century with an S. H2O.com. Go to the website. Use I think
Well, you've got a sale going on right now on there.
yeah, we do. Go after the sale, grab it, and like I said, it's we everything is shipped to you at no cost to you. So that's so if you bought a home system, we pay for that. You buy under the sink system, we pay for that. Um, and then the under the sink, there's a video out there. Go to the video, look how easy it is. 15 minutes to put it in. The home system, that video is coming up here soon. A plumber, sometimes we people don't feel comfortable messing with water. Use a plumber. Um, but generally, you can put these things in by yourself. If you have a loop in your house, oh my gosh, it's like shark bites. Slide them on, go home. That's it. And so those are things that you can do. And I'll tell you something. Um, you know how when you take a shower with a salt system, you feel slimy? Your squeaky clean water, you're washing yourself in. Totally different animal. The other thing too is here's another thing I didn't bring up. When you use your wash machine, your soap that you use, not as much. In your dishwasher, not as much. So you save money in different areas by using this product, which is kind of weird, right? It's a water.
But the water itself is activated in the sense of it's purified, and you're not the chemicals that you need to clean
Right.
the whatever. They're not having to fight that.
Well, think about it. You got salt in the water. You got salt in the water going in your washing machine. You got salt in the water going in your dishwasher. You're washing your dishes in salt.
Yeah, we don't have that
That's
in our place, but there are we have a Texas house that we just purchased, and yeah,
it has it.
they've got a salt system in the house there. It's just sitting there. But I'm like, why are they? Oh, it's because the water is very hard down there, or I don't know.
Okay. That's a great statement. You made a huge statement. Hard water is bad.
I
No,
know.
no, hard water is the best thing you can get. The harder the water, the more minerals.
I'm
Here's the
just
problem.
saying that's why they did that, though. I think.
Right. No, they did it for a reason. Hard water is bad. Okay. Here, same thing. Hard water is bad. But we're the only ones that manage water. Everybody else doesn't know how to manage it. So by managing the water, it's
Yes.
good. You want 100 grain. My product is good for 100 grains of hardness. Nobody can say that. And if you use the something similar, SP3, 15 grains of hardness, then it doesn't work. We're at 100. You're at 80 grains of hardness. That means you're getting 80 grains of minerals in your drinking water.
Wow.
Yes, now you're chewing on it.
That's what
That's
I
what
grew
you
up with. Where literally, and when I was at the glacier, I'm chewing on that water.
right. Well,
Oh my
let me
gosh.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. Here's your problem. That's hard water.
Yep. Oh, I love
Here's
hard
the
water.
problem. But it doesn't have all the toxins in it.
But it
It's
has
sourced
that's
up
it.
the mountain.
Yeah.
The water in Texas has
Tons
arsenic,
of, oh yeah.
chromium 6, fluoride. That hardness has to be pulled out.
That's it.
So that's why they're using salt. Okay, you use our product, all of a sudden now you got yourself you got a cocktail that will make you healthy. Very simply, and it won't stick to anything or won't cause any problems. That's what you want. You want the hardest water in the world. Now, hard water. If you drink hard water, you'll get stones. You'll get stones in your body because we break it into a powder. I've been doing this now for 7 years. And I had stones that almost killed me. I went toxic almost. All right, septic. It was bad. I was throwing up in the hospital. So I know what stones are all about. And that's what we have here in Arizona. I've been drinking this for 7 years. Nothing. Powder, powder, powder. Powder your body can manage, right? It can use that.
Yep.
It's magnesium and calcium. You know, and then it passes whatever it doesn't keep. It gets rid of. That's what your body does. It knows things. When I go to the bathroom, when I go to the washroom, I have a plethora of oxygen in the toilet. It looks like a ice cream cone because I'm drinking so much oxygen.
Yeah.
I can only keep so much.
Yep.
That's what will happen to you guys. That's when you have a house system and you got it going through your skin. You got it in your coffee. You got it in your drink. Whatever. Your world will change. You will become a person that you'll look at life differently. Because also, coffee. What do we drink coffee for? For energy, right? I have my 1 cup a day in the morning. Then I'm on it. I use my water. I drink my water all day long. All that oxygen is going into my gut. What does oxygen do? It makes you energized.
Yes, I was just listening. I had a guest on a couple weeks ago or a week ago, and we talked about oxygenating your blood and how important that the Olympians use ways to oxygenate
Yes.
the blood. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they can just drink your water. Now
What do you think you're doing with this water? It's oxygenating your blood on top of it.
That's what I'm saying. So it goes in and it oxygenates your blood. So
It does.
do you have anything that is a portable product? I didn't see anything on there. So
No.
if you're traveling,
No.
okay,
No.
you just have to withdraw and then come back and get the good stuff when you get home.
I got friends that they went out on a month's vacation and they had withdrawals. They got lines in their face. Everything came back that was gone. They're like they were actually getting cramps. Their body was not happy. Yes, that's the downside. We are working on some things for the future. Yeah, I'll be able to drink water out of a mud puddle. 600 gallons. It's a straw that is a real straw, not this thing they call the straw out there. It takes chlorine out of the water. It takes ammonia. This is something coming down the road. It was developed with a friend of ours on the space station. They can drink their own urine on the space station through my new filter coming on. But that's for tomorrow. Today, this is what we got.
Well, I'm thinking the military is going to probably want to get that because then they can be out in the desert and
They already are looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So we got a lot.
any extreme situation, there's a need for that. I mean, they already have products out there, some of it, but if you come up with a better product, they're going to be looking at you.
No, what they have right now is not even close to what we're talking about.
No, I know that, but
we got the stuff that there's things we're coming out with that are it's all paper. It's all paper. Crazy technology, just crazy. But that'll be another story. But right now, this is where we're at. And this stuff we have right now, guys, grab it. For $300, you're going to change your life. And if you don't like it, give me a call. I've never had a person tell me that. Everybody, I got people that panic when their filters go bad. They panic. They want they can't live without the water now. It tastes so good. It's so fresh. It's so easy to drink that your body will literally crave the water.
Yeah.
I can't explain that. Okay, I just can't. I do. I crave it. Other people say, yeah, I can't live without it. So all in all, I got to run because I have a place I got to kind of get.
Oh no, I just want to say thanks.
I love it. Thank you
for coming on here, Nelson. And folks, I want to thank you for joining us on the Lion Zone. And as I like to say, be a lion and not the prey.
Have a good day.